How's it going, bro? My name's PewDiePie.
YouTube's biggest star, PewDiePie, has just apologized for a racist slip of the tongue.
It's every day, bro, with the Disney Channel flow.
Paul is making headlines after an FBI raid at his home in Calabasas.
I just gotta be careful to not disrespect the culture.
He posted a video allegedly showing the body of a person who recently committed suicide.
He fucked me with a toothbrush.
Fans at TanaCon say an angry mob grabbed tickets and rushed the lobby of this Garden Grove Marriott.
All right, guys, so I'm gonna try to make this as short and sweet as possible.
I just need to apologize for this past week.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in the judgment.
I want to talk to you guys, and this video is just...
I'm gay.
I'm fast as fuck, boy. Be free.
Why am I still getting hate?
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
My head makes me want to kill myself. Fucking stupid bitch.
Why am I still getting hate?
And it's mommy makeout day. I would love people saying, oh, Leafy, come back.
I have one question for you. Yeah? What are those?
I first discovered YouTube at a friend's house. I had been barely 7 at the time. We were actually doing karaoke on his TV through an on-demand channel called Oxygen, and we were singing some Weird Al songs, but after we were finished singing, my friend asked me if I'd ever seen Weird Al's music videos on YouTube before, and I'd never heard of YouTube, so I was like, no, I've never heard of that TV channel, and he was like, no, it's not a TV channel, it's a website where you can watch stuff. So he loads up YouTube on his computer and shows me, and I'm like, oh, is this Weird Al's website where he posts his music videos? And he's like, no, you can watch anything on here. And I was like, oh, you can watch like any music video? Is it like a website for music videos? And he says, no, you can watch anything on here. And at the time, I was really confused by the concept of YouTube. I pretty much felt like an old person trying to work Facebook, except I wasn't old, I was only 7 years old, but I couldn't fathom, how could one single site have videos to anything? There was just no possible way. Newgrounds had animations, Homestar Runner was just videos about Homestar Runner, You Got Owned was a website where you could just watch the same loop of owned memes, so how could one site be about everything? It was just a concept I couldn't really wrap my head around, and I never really visited the site again. That was until one day at my cousin's house a few months later where I discovered Smosh. My cousins asked me if I'd ever watched Smosh before, and I said no, and they threw on one of their videos, which I think was their April Fool's Day one, and it was probably one of the funniest things I'd ever seen before in my life. I got hooked. I started watching YouTube every single day after that. I watched all of Smosh's videos. I discovered Ryan Higa, Shane Dawson, Annoying Orange, AVGN, Freddie Wong, Fred, Will It Blend, FPS Russia, Epic Mealtime, Ray William Johnson, Rooster Teeth, Machinima. The list just goes on, and there was just so much stuff to watch on YouTube that you couldn't really find anywhere else, and it was amazing. It was a really cool corner of the internet where people could just be themselves and have a cool community of people who love their content. And as an avid watcher of YouTube, I of course wanted to make my own videos too that I thought people would want to watch and enjoy watching too. My whole life, I've honestly always wanted to be a YouTuber, but I could never really figure out how. When I first started wanting to make videos, I was in the 4th grade, and what I really wanted to do was make RuneScape skits like To New World, but I just didn't understand how you make a video. How did he record what he did in the game? How did he record himself talking? How was he able to do any of that stuff? How do you go about making a video? Originally, what I tried to do was take screenshots of the game and then pasting them into MS Paint and cropping them so I can make like a slideshow, but it took way too long and I didn't know what I was doing, so I gave up. I gave up on trying to make a video, but then one day my cousins brought over something called a webcam that allows you to record yourself on the computer, and what I did was I tried taking the webcam and facing it towards my screen as I made a RuneScape skit, and I was like, yes, this is how people do it. This is how people make videos. I got it, but I didn't get it. This was the exact opposite of how people made videos. The quality was so bad and my arm was shaky, and I don't even know if it recorded the audio, to be honest. It was just a mess of a technique, and the end result looked nothing like the videos that I was used to watching. For some reason, it never occurred to me to look up unregistered Hypercam 2 on Google, because even though that's what I noticed was plastered across the top of every single RuneScape video out there, Googling things wasn't really common sense back then. I'm not really even sure what we used Google for back then. It seemed more like a novelty site than an educational one. You would look up things like how far is the moon from Earth, or just random shit that you wanted to know but didn't really matter. No one was really out here using Google to learn how to change a tire or like what their medical symptoms meant. And aside from that, Google wasn't even the main search engine either. Most people used Ask.com or Yahoo or even AOL to look actual things up. I mean, Google was big, but they weren't search engine monopoly big yet. Eventually though, I did make my first YouTube video in 2008. I had seen a bunch of weird looking animal pictures online and I thought to myself, these animals look like they're on drugs, because I didn't know what drugs were back then and it was a funny new word I had probably just learned the day before. So I took all these pictures of weird looking animals, threw them together in Windows Movie Maker, and I had my first video ever, Animals on Drugs. And this is what it ended up looking like. Okay, you get the point, but it just keeps going on with weird pictures that aren't even animals on drugs, you get it. But that was literally my first video ever, and I was proud of it. I thought it was hilarious, and I showed it to everybody I knew. I made fake accounts to comment how great of a video it was on it, and I used my cousin's account too to comment how funny it was. It was just a fun experience making my first video. I was having a blast, but that video also contained my first ever comment from a stranger, which also happened to be my first ever hate comment, which was, "This was so fucking shit." Everything about it was, the only people that will rate me bad are children that are 10 and under, and I'm sure that everyone else that isn't completely retarded will agree that I am right. And I actually was under 10 when I made that, so I guess it makes sense that they didn't like it. But I wasn't really used to or exposed to the angry comment side of YouTube yet. Cyberbullying wasn't even a word back then either. The internet wasn't really known for being evil yet. Everything I had seen up to that point was honestly so positive. Hate comments weren't as mainstream as they are now, at least back then. Although that comment did make me feel pretty discouraged, I still kept making some more videos, but eventually I ended up stopping completely. And although being a YouTuber was something that I wanted to be so badly, I just gave up trying to be one, which I mean back then didn't really even matter because it's not like I wanted it to be my job. I was only in the 4th grade and I was just doing it for fun. That's what everybody did it for. No one even had a single clue that it was possible to make money on the site until many years later. But even though I wasn't making videos anymore, I was still an audience member, and YouTube was still a very special place for me and for a lot of people. One of the best parts about YouTube is having a connection to the creators that you watch and seeing them grow and learning about their life. It's a one-sided relationship, yes, but you still feel like you're friends with these people because you know so much about their life and what their daily thoughts are. One of my favorite YouTubers I used to watch was Jericho. I still remember to this day when I watched the video where he told everybody what his real name was, and it felt like I was actually getting to know this person as a friend. Although he didn't know I even existed, there's still a certain friendship being created between me as an audience member and him as a YouTuber. And I remember after that video, I even told my mom, hey, today I found out this YouTuber who I watched named Jericho, his real name is actually Tucker. Like she really gave a fuck who he was. But it was cool to learn about the people who you basically watch every day, getting to know more about them. And I got to see people like Jericho grow, like when him and T Martin, Gold Glove, Muzzafuzz, and Syndicate all moved in together to create the Gamer Shore House. I thought that was the coolest thing ever, and the audience was part of that journey. That's something that you can only get from YouTube. As relatable and likable as some of your favorite TV show characters may be, or as charismatic as some of these late night hosts may seem, I don't think any of that could ever replicate the emotional connection you have to your favorite YouTuber, because these are real people actually talking about their lives, and that's one of the many reasons why I love YouTube so much. As the years go on though, it seems like there has been a drop in the quality of YouTube videos out there. Everything nowadays seems to be about clicks and controversy and drama. There's so many YouTubers who put on a fake persona just to gain an audience, and the only thing they care about is money. When people talk about the old YouTube, what they miss most is content that doesn't grow old, content that doesn't rely on clickbait or trends or getting the most views or likes or click-through ratio. Videos that were made because the person who made them thought that this is a video that would be fun to make, that this is something that people should see, and that they should make purely for the love of it. I remember downloading film count videos on my PSP while stealing Wi-Fi from my grandma's neighbor and watching them over and over again every single day, never getting tired of the jokes. Timeless content that just doesn't really seem to exist nowadays. Except if I were to say that, I would be a huge hypocrite. Although nostalgia would have you believe that the YouTube that you grew up with, even if it was only a few years ago, was better than the current YouTube, I think that would be wrong to say. I think current day YouTube might be the best it's ever been, as a whole at least, even if you still cling onto the fact that the YouTube of the past was better. I think YouTube is slowly going back to the way that it used to be, to the original content that everybody misses. Obviously, it's going to be different than it was 10 or 5 or even 2 years ago, but of course it's different. Everything in life changes. It can't be exactly the same, but I think now, even with all the restrictions and regulations YouTube has that puts limitations on what you can make if you want to earn a lot of money, content is getting better every day, and I honestly think that right now, we are in one of the golden ages of YouTube. Drama and hate aren't the only things raking in views. The original genres that you love from old YouTube are making a huge comeback. Skits are flourishing, and not all of them are relying on being this is what girls do versus what boys do, or some dumb shit like that in order to get views. There's so many original skit channels out there that are killing it. Original unique animation is making a comeback. Not all the top animators are storytime animators, although it may seem like that, and not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I'm a fucking storytime animator too, but there's a ton of original animators who are making content better than you could find during whatever year you think old YouTube animation was at its peak. And the Charlie the Unicorn finale is out, so what more could you ask for? People just talking in front of a camera to an audience is making a comeback on YouTube. Commentary channels are destroying the algorithm right now, and it's all channels just talking to you about random shit, just like the old days of YouTube, where literally almost every original YouTuber like Ryan Higa and Jenna Marbles did originally. Old YouTube is back, and it's better than ever. What more content could you possibly ask for? Every day that I log onto this site, I get recommended great videos. I honestly have no reason to complain for anything I get recommended. We're in a YouTube renaissance right now where everything we loved about old YouTube is here again and even better. Sure, we're no longer in the edgy phase where iDubbbz, Filthy Frank, Grade A, Under A, Leafy, and people like that dominated the anti-influencer era. Sure, H3 may have become somewhat of a villain now, and Keemstar is bigger than scarce again. Sure, people are getting paid for making videos. Holy shit, like it's a fucking crime, my guy, and people are censoring their fucking videos so they can make a buck or two and pay the bills. God forbid they fucking do that. Please forgive us. But I honestly think that we're in a great age of content, and it's only going to get better from here. YouTube is still so fucking niche, and once it gets even more mainstream, there's going to be way cooler shit happening. This is only the beginning, I think, at least. I don't know, no one can really predict what's going to happen, but that's my thoughts on it. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows though. YouTube still does have its problems, many problems actually, that if I were to name all the problems that YouTube has in this video, I would probably have to wait a couple of days for this thing to finish exporting, but as much as I would love to sit here and complain about everything that YouTube's done wrong, how they seem to favor well-established and mainstream celebrities over their own indie creators that help shape and pave the route for what YouTube is as a platform to this very day, how YouTube is held at the balls by the music industry and they'll push out music like it's going out of style, and if you just use a mere 3 seconds of audio from a copyrighted song, then that artist gets every single penny you've made from your 30-minute video. How the YouTube algorithm just doesn't like small creators or original creators or funny creators or talented creators or any creator that isn't part of the 0.0001% of the YouTube Illuminati. As much as I would love to go on and on about all of that, at the end of the day, YouTube is kind of my home. YouTube is kind of our home. It's home for a lot of people, not only in the form of an escape through watching videos, but also as a community, as a culture, as a part of my life. YouTube has been a huge part of my life ever since I was a kid, and up until current day, it has always been my main form of entertainment, and the way that things are going media-wise, it will probably continue to be for a long time. I grew up devouring thousands upon thousands of hours of content on YouTube. YouTube has a place in my heart, and as much as I love to rag on it, it's a website that has changed my life, and it's changed a lot of people's lives too. Sure, every YouTube rewind recently has been absolute fucking garbage, and sure, YouTube may not be transparent with how they run their site, but YouTube is a place that has had a profound effect on my life, and if YouTube never existed, I'm not sure what kind of person I would be today. A lot of celebrities talk about how TV raised them, and now I'm in a generation where YouTube raised me. YouTube literally raised me. The connection that I have to these YouTubers that I grew up watching and continue to watch to this day is unlike anything you can experience from television or movies or anything of that sort. There's a reason why YouTubers are so beloved by their audience. There's a reason why normal everyday people have more devoted fans on YouTube than actors on fully produced entertainment networks do. YouTube is a home to nurture that sort of content with that sort of connection that you can't really get anywhere else. Sure, you can make some TikToks and Instagram comedy videos and get some views, but the relationship that exists between a YouTube creator and their audience is something special that really can't be replicated through most other social media platforms. As a YouTuber myself, the main thing I try to think of is, am I making content that I would have enjoyed watching watching as a kid, as an audience member on the other side, back in 2008, back in 2010, back in 2012, back whenever I was watching videos, or back whenever the golden age was for someone. Am I actually leaving some sort of impact on this website, or is my content just more of the same garbage that's cluttering this site filled with people who just want to do this as a career instead of making videos with 100% pure, passionate, undying love for the video making process? I'm not sure, to be honest. I really hope I am doing something right, but for all I know, I could be contributing to what people would consider to be the downfall of this website. YouTubers who are pumping out content weekly instead of nurturing a video for a month to make it a well-crafted piece of art. YouTubers who think they're funny but they're really not and lack any sort of self-awareness. I'm not really sure where I fall on that, so why don't you let me know in the comments what you think, and make sure you subscribe and like this video and slap my ass and call me Willie. I don't fucking know. I gotta end this fucking video somehow. So to end this video off, I just want to leave you guys with this. To anyone out there who has ever made a YouTube video, to anyone who has ever enjoyed what YouTube has to offer as a platform, to anyone who has ever worked for YouTube, to any YouTuber who I have ever watched, to anyone that's ever watched my videos, to anyone out there whose life has been impacted for the better by YouTube as a content creator or a fan, this is a tribute to you. Thank you.
Friends, you know that I would die, put holes in both of my hands like I am Jesus Christ. Maria, I'm rolling out like a chia. I'm gonna bob it and pull it, twist, flick it, spin like I'm Sia. I'm gonna swing on the lights, I'm gonna die tonight. I'm gonna die with a smile, I hope I did it right. I'm gonna hate and not love, and I'll fucking spit on my grave. It's Jake the Snake, it's still the same. You're on
Congratulations, you won.